Well, thank you, Ms. Leitner, and thank you to the members of the public who showed up on this issue. Thank you to the mayor for bringing this forward. I believe that the Chargers belong in San Diego, and I believe that we can and really need to craft a deal that makes sense for both the team as well as taxpayers. I think that can happen, and I think that's exactly what the Citizens Stadium Advisory Group is working on right now. Now, my office has submitted some research, as have others, to the task force to look at different ways that this can be done. But I think it's important to recognize that we're not reinventing the wheel here. There have been a number of new stadiums built over the last decade or two throughout the NFL. And it's really just a combination of looking at the tools that are available and figuring out the combination of those tools that makes sense here in San Diego. And I put an op-ed in the UT on Sunday that alluded to some of these tools, including personal seat licenses as well as naming rights. And that is something that have been used in other markets, and it would be available here as well. And some have suggested that San Diego, for whatever reason, would not be a viable market for PSLs. And I think we need to see if that's the case. I think we need to actually sell them and see if season ticket holders who have been with the team for years and years and years would suddenly not be interested in supporting the team, and that would, for whatever reason, not be a viable method of finance. I think it would be if the alternative was watching the team move up to Los Angeles. Naming rights as well. If you look at some other markets in Santa Clara, they split the naming rights up there to Levi's Stadium 70-30, with the team getting the 30 and the stadium authority getting the 70%. That is the kind of thing that I believe we should be looking at, and I think that's the kind of thing that the task force will. Mr. Collins mentioned the land in Mission Valley. What I was referring to, sir, is not that we would give anybody the land, but that the city could ground lease that to a developer or multiple developers, which could include the Spanos family or maybe not, and use some of the proceeds of that to help finance the stadium construction as well. Now, these are just ideas among many that the task force will consider, but all of them involve doing this in a way that does not require a 2/3 vote and does not require a tax increase, which I do not believe that people in this town would support. So I think the combination of these items, the redevelopment, which really needs to happen. I mean, that is not a well utilized space right now. If you look at the massive amount of just parking spaces that are at the site of Mission Valley today, I don't think that is the best and highest use of that property. So that needs to be redeveloped, and using some of those proceeds in a way that could contribute to the stadium construction, I think makes sense, with the city ultimately retaining control of that land, and potentially working on some kind of partnership with the county and doing a JPA, which of course is how the original stadium was built in the first place in the late 60s, was with a JPA. And we have the option of doing an enhanced infrastructure finance district that requires a 55% vote of the people. It's not a 2/3 vote, it's not a tax increase, but it is something that requires a public vote. So I believe, as a representative of the taxpayers, we must find a fiscally responsible way to do this. If we can't, then we've got a problem. But I think we can. I think we can do this. I think the Chargers belong here, and we can do this in a way that enables us to protect taxpayer dollars, invest in the priorities that the public tells us they want us to, which include infrastructure, public safety, but also keep the team here. This team has been a part of our fabric of our San Diego community since 1961, I believe, and they should stay here. And so I think we can do that if there's enough commitment by both sides to make that happen. So with that in mind, I would like to make the motion that we approve the resolution brought forward by the mayor, and that we all work together, support the task force, and get this deal done. Thank you.
So we have a motion by Councilmember Kersey to approve item S500. Councilmember Sherman.